Hello, welcome to CIO Leadership Live Middle East. Today, it is my pleasure to host Bruno Astencio, Head of Data Transformation at First Abu Dhabi Bank. Hello, Bruno, how are you? Hola, buenos días.
Hola, buenos días. All good. Thank you very much for having me and a pleasure meeting you as well.
No, it is our pleasure. Well, as I say, Head of Data Transformation at First Abu Dhabi Bank. Normally, we are used to, everyone is an IT decision maker, but we are used to discuss with CIOs, CTOs. So it is great to have you today as Head of Data Transformation. So that brings me to my first question. Like, what's the difference between being a CIO and being Head of Data Transformation? And how do you support First Abu Dhabi Bank within your role?
Sure. Again, thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to talk a little bit about my experience here at FAB. So, actually, this is the first time type of role both for me and for the organization. I've usually been working on other fintechs and mostly tech and startup companies, both helping as a data scientist first, and then helping them also build platforms for advanced analytics and data science. Now, FAB created this position with the sole purpose of bringing someone with a tech and startup background, just like me, to help them come up with a new strategy to modernize their data platform. And FAB, as you might know, is one of the biggest banks of the region. Therefore, they have a lot of ambitions in the next few years. And to be able to support that, they need to scale their data platform. They need to move away from their traditional and legacy systems and bring a lot of new technologies and take a look at whatever other tech companies are doing out there. So that's why they created this role to bring someone with my profile, help them guide through that transformation.
Well, that is so nice. So new role, new company, but you are not new in the banking industry because prior First Abu Dhabi Bank, you were in WIO Bank here in the region. And then last year, First Abu Dhabi Bank. Why did you decide to join for this project? I mean, I can assume it must be exciting to start within a new role that has been created for you. But what were the challenges and the goals?
Yeah, it was actually a very big step for me to take. To be honest, I have had a really good time like working in innovative environments such as other tech companies and fintechs. Wio is the first fully digital bank of the region. And even before Wio, I was part of the launching team of the first fully digital bank in Mexico. So I have been doing a lot of like innovative stuff and breaking ground in different regions. But now this particular opportunity was quite enticing for me because most of the work that you do in startups or tech companies is trying to do something on a constrained environment and just try to do it with time pressure on top of it. But now, what would happen if I can take that experience with a less constrained environment, given the size of this company, and with a full team to plan accordingly to the scaling and ambitions of the bank for the next few years? That's what was very enticing for me, taking all this tech knowledge and all this startup knowledge into like, let's say the major leagues and apply it to a company just like that.
And also, they say like you have experience in the banking industry, but there is a huge difference between working for a new digital bank and it's such a Rio and then First Abu Dhabi Bank because the banking industry now has a strong focus on modernizing its legacy systems. And I know for this you are working with Confluent. How is Confluent helping you on this?
So once you go to a company like the size of Fab, then you need to be able to to choose the proper tools for this. It's a very tricky situations because sometimes you fall into the needs or maybe sometimes think they have the need to get every single tool that's out there in the market, right? Because you're a big company, then you need many different tools, and then you need to see how you properly govern all of this. But the most important thing is not having them all, it's just choosing the right partners that will help you not only for a specific use case or for a specific project, but actually help you scale your ambitions or scale your data platform for any future aspirations. I have to say, I have to confess that Confluent was a very happy coincidence to me. Confluent was something that was already acquired by the bank by the time I came here. But when I first learned that they have already signed a license contract with Confluent, I was very, very happy. In my previous experiences, I have all worked many times with Kafka and real-time data, but I hadn't had the opportunity to work with Confluent Kafka, which changes your scope completely. because now that you have a platform like Confluent helping you manage your resources for real time, then you can actually focus on the delivery of the project and the delivery of the data science or analytics itself, rather than all the infra maintenance thing that you need to keep up when you deploy a Kafka tool. So for me, it has been a great experience. It is definitely one of the cornerstones for the transformation occurring here in SAP. And most importantly, it helps not only to bring new technology to the bank, but also to modernize some legacy systems. I think sometimes it's very complicated when big companies like SAP undergo a transformation process, because you sometimes need to deprecate some technology and just get rid of some of all their legacy systems. But with tools like Confluent, you can actually leverage it to optimize or modernize those legacy systems without having to transform the whole underlying infrastructure.
Why did the bank decide to work with Confluent? Because you told me that the decision was taken before you joined. And also, what are the benefits that you have seen since then?
I think the major decision was the need for having real-time solutions here in the region. There's a huge effort from the central bank of the UAE to ensure that all of the different banks that work here in the region are part of the transaction system that supports real-time visualizations of any movement, also for fraud detection. So the appetite for real-time data and capabilities in the bank was huge. And again, there's many ways to do real time, right? I've done it in many different ways and using many different open source systems. But in the end, maintaining the real time infrastructure, it can be very complicated, and it can become a huge headache for a data team if you try to do that by yourself. Confluent gives you the major benefit of supporting you on the infra side, ensuring that all the platform for Kafka is properly maintained. And therefore, again, you can just focus on actually delivering the project rather than setting up infrastructure platform.
Absolutely. Bruno, companies, especially in the banking sector, need the right system and infrastructure in place so organizations can take value from the data and offer hyper-personalized experiences to the customers. So what is First Abu Dhabi approach on this?
That's actually a great question, and it's one of the most interesting parts for me. So we started our Confluent journey, or our real-time journey, as I mentioned, to make sure that we were compliant with some of the central bank mandates, and to ensure that our transactions are properly safeguarded and fraud detection runs in real time, right? Like that's what gives you your core banking, that makes sure that your bank runs smoothly. But then what goes after that? Like you don't want only to provide like a traditional banking experience to your customers, right? Like going to the next level or taking it to the next level, it means that you provide something beyond banking. You want your bank not to be only your traditional partner, but you want you want a partner that helps you through your lifestyle, through your ambitions on how you will set up your money, how you will save, how you will spend, how you will invest, everything of that. For a company to be able to do that, then you need to become customer centric, right? And to become customer centric, you need to gather hundreds, if not thousands, of data points for a single customer, and then action mostly real time actions on top of it. So then, if SAB or any other bank wants to take it to the next stage and not just be like a traditional bank, but also like a finance partner for us customers, then you need to have the proper tools which will help you gather all the information about the customer, understand what is its context, what its needs, its ambitions, whatever the customer needs, and then deploy or trigger actions that will improve the experience of the customer when he banks with your platform. So that is where we want to go. We want to make sure that our customers have a personalized experience, or a hyper-personalized experience in this case, so that they fall in love with the bank. They know that the platform understands them. They know that the platform is not just a generic banking platform, but a customized platform that knows what their customers need and want.
You mentioned a little bit First Abu Dhabi Bank future plans, but the year just started. So where is the company going to invest in 2024?
That's a very complex and large question, but but in terms of data and in terms of innovation, which I think is what pertains to this conversation and what's most interesting to us, again, the first part of it, it's making sure that we go one step beyond from our core banking services. I think FAB is already a consolidated bank, and everyone knows that it's a name that you can trust, and your money will be safeguarded, that our fraud detection mechanisms are in place. I think that's something that's already quite established in the region. But we want to take this bank again to the next stage, where we provide a very nice interactive platform and a personalized experience. For that, I think that's where FAB is currently investing hard into tools that help us build a modern data platform to make sure that we have a proper way to scale without incurring entertainment costs, a proper way of capturing data, and giving us the flexibility not only of real time, because in the end, there are some very interesting real-time use cases, but there are way more and way many more interesting use cases using batching and micro-batching. And this is something that Confluent also gives you the flexibility. Just because it can be real-time doesn't mean that everything has to be real-time. But it's good to know that you can have real-time, micro-batching, batching, or even every 2 days or every week data. That's the flexibility that you want to give your platform. So the bank is investing in tools that help you do that. Scale, SLAing your data, and most importantly, deploy data science, machine learning, and the hot topic of the moment, Gen AI, which requires large influxes of data and many times real-time data as well.
Well, I think as you say, like Gen AI is the hot topic. Like everyone is talking about it. I'm really looking forward for the next year because now the question is like, are you implementing Gen AI, but it's still on pilots project. So I'm really looking forward for the next year to know the development we are gonna see, especially here in the Middle East. Bruno, thank you so much for joining CIO Leadership Live Middle East. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today.